It is an increasing problem. I would not call it a crisis yet, but it is an economical burden because it costs quite a lot of money already. Around 5 to 6% of Swedish children are obese, and around 10 to 15% are overweight. So it is an increasing problem. We can also see that it is increasing among young adolescents too. Among pregnant women, for example, we have seen an increase during the recent last years. So this is a severe problem, and it will be worse because it is when you are middle-aged, the side effects are becoming severe. I mean, you can be obese for 10 to 15 years without having any signs of disease. But when you become 40, 50 years of age, then you will get type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular problems, and risk of premature death. It is becoming one of the major killers indeed. And I think it's very important to remember that when the children become obese, and if they get type 2 diabetes when they are around the 20s, the mortality is much, much higher compared to if you get it later in life. So it's a very severe disease when you get it when you are young. Yeah, I mean, the easy way to respond is that you have all possibilities to sit down and have fun as a child. That was impossible 20, 30 years ago. You had to do something if you were not very interested in books. But now you can have a very diversified leisure time without doing anything but sit down. And when you sit down like that, there's a high risk that you eat at the same time. So I think that's because that's a major risk, that you eat and you drink too much. And the other aspect is that you can 24/7 today get something that you really like to eat. Whether it's warm, cold, salt, sweet, you can always get something. And that's a high risk because then you eat and you drink. And one specific factor that we know is of importance is sweetened drinks, soft drinks. And there's been a severe increase in the intake of that among children and adolescents throughout the last 20 years. So that's one very specific risk factor.